So Black Friday is coming up, and companies that take a look at these things try to see what the trends are like. Capital Connect have done their research, and they think we are likely to see general dealers and clothing retailers getting something like a 24 billion rand boost. But overall, for retail, we're looking at a 26.6 billion rand turnover. Let's get the detail. Gerard Leroux, he's the national head of capital growth at Connect Capital. He joins me to talk about this. So your numbers are interesting. Before we talk about the fact that they are still below pre-pandemic levels, post-pandemic, given the boost that we saw after people were crammed in their homes, I just wanted to get your overall take in terms of who is likely to benefit here. Is it the grocery guys? Is it the clothing retailers? Is it perhaps the big items fellows?
Good afternoon, Godfrey. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, it is an interesting spread this year. The likely winners are definitely textile, clothing, footwear, and your general dealers. And general dealers, I'm meaning your typical supermarket chains like Spar, Checkers, ShopRite, Pick n Pay, etc. Household furniture, appliance equipment will also see a slight increase. Hardware, paint and glass, not so much. And then the guys that are falling behind is your specialty stores with food and beverages, tobacco, and pharmaceutical side as well.
Yeah. This is not a healthy consumer, clearly, here.
It depends on how you look at it, Godfrey. Some of these general dealers are stocking up on some items that a typical pharmaceutical supermarket would have stocked. So maybe they're just shopping somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take an overall look at the impact of this. You are estimating, it was a big number, especially in this environment where there are no jobs, 150,000 retail job opportunities, albeit temporary or seasonal. But the fact that you are seeing such a large injection, I just want to know the spread of those job opportunities from the survey that you did.
Thanks, Godfrey. Yeah, so I think it's important to note that comparing 2023 to 2022, there's been definitely an uptake. You're looking at from the 26 billion rand additional retail sales this year compared to the 19 billion from last year, but it's still much lower than the 41 billion from 2021. Now, obviously, we know that lockdown happened, and obviously we're still trying to recover from the pandemic. But now with this sudden surge again happening this year is creating these job opportunities. And what's important, these job opportunities are not just at the retail store where potentially they need additional staff to help customers that's going to purchase some of these items. Yeah. It's throughout the value chain. So your suppliers will potentially need to employ more people to help with the packaging and the delivering, as well as your manufacturers will need to employ more people to help with the manufacturing of these additional goods. So that's definitely something that I think especially the consumers are really needing at this stage, especially leading up to the festive season and back to school early next year.
Yeah. So is there any opportunity or possibility then that some of these jobs may well become permanent? And I wonder if you would have a percentage for me in terms of those that perhaps may stay on, or everybody's likely to go back to where they were.
It's difficult to give that estimate, Godfrey, but I think the same as with a retailer that is extremely innovative and savvy to try and grow his market share within his business, I think consumers as well, if they get an opportunity, even if it is temporary, I think that's your opportunity to shine and show your employer what you are made of. And yes, definitely then that temporary position can go over into a permanent position.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about the numbers that you gave us at the beginning. So you were talking about a potential boost here of 26.6 billion rand. Is that a function of more people buying, or is that number a function of the inflationary environment that we are in?
It's a bit of both, Godfrey, but there's also another element that we need to take into consideration. So historically, Black Friday was just one day. If you now take it back into 2015, and then it started becoming 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, and now it's almost longer than a month. So that definitely has an impact. But yes, inflation and all the other factors that we are currently facing is adding to that. But I think the prolonged period of Black Friday is what's giving these numbers such a boost.
Yeah. And to what extent can we also talk about these numbers perhaps being held back by skepticism around Black Friday? I'm sure you've heard the tales about how people think that, those deals that you are given, if you actually look at the prices now, versus where they were at the beginning of the year, you may well be seeing, people who are just essentially reverting to prices that we've already seen before.
Yeah, no, the consumers are becoming extremely savvy, but I think another element is the consumer is under a lot of pressure and they are cash strapped. So most consumers this Black Friday will start focusing on your more essential products, like your toilet paper, your chicken, washing powder, etc., and try and stock up on those where it's beneficial for them. Maybe your small appliances like kettles and two-plate stoves, etc., but the big luxury items that we all know Black Friday was known for, I think that's taking a back seat potentially for later in the year or early next year.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that because one of your headlines is that luxuries are off the menu and people are likely to be picking up on essentials.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the focus. And if you look at the large majority of our population, they are in trouble and they need to work very clever with their money. But it's also an opportunity for retailers to be savvy and to think outside of the box. And a good example was the Prime energy drink phenomenon that took place a couple of months. Now the current one is Mr. Beast Chocolates Feastables that Macro and Game is selling. Now, that's a very strategic move from these retailers where they are using the children to drag the parents to the shop to buy something specific and then cross-selling some of the other items that is there on display. So retailers need to really think outside the box. They need to come up with unique ideas that's going to lure these consumers to the store and then hopefully cross-sell and expand the basket size from there.
Yeah, I wanted actually to ask you about the strategies that are being employed by the retailers here, because you also speak about the need for diversification. Diversification at what level? At the product level or at the type of customer that you want to attract?
Definitely looking at your immediate customers in your area. Now, the first problem that most of these retailers are facing is access to capital to diversify. And that's where companies like fintech companies like us at Capital Connect provide them with this capital. Now, diversification means you can add additional product lines in your store, but diversification also means that you potentially put in a coffee shop. Maybe the husband wants to drink some coffee while the wife is shopping. That's a form of diversification, but understanding what your customer needs in your specific area and you can cater towards them, that's definitely going to see a boost in your sales coming this Black Friday and leading into the festive season.
Yeah, but are you also saying that we are unlikely to see good deals on the big ticket items?
If you look at your online-only retailers, I think there will definitely be some nice focus on high-end electronics, etc. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But when it comes to, and I think maybe if I take a step back, the online-only sales is only accounting for about 5% of all sales.
That's an important number.
Still a very small portion. Still a small portion, yes. So yes, it will be great to focus on that, but I think the general dealers focusing on your essential products, getting the feet into the store, that will be the main focus for most retailers.
Yeah, and I don't know if you had looked at this one because I wanted to know if perhaps the big opportunity lies on online, given the fact that I think, when was it? Was it a week or two ago we heard that Amazon is coming into our market, and you'd imagine with their focus on online, they would likely come and make a big splash here.
Yeah, I think people talk about the Amazon effect, and I think it's definitely going to have an effect, especially on their direct competitors, but then across the board. Now, it's important for retailers in South Africa to focus on the omni-channel. So it's not just online, it's not just brick and mortar in the store, it's the omni-channel. It's using your social media, etc., to lure these feet into your store. So investing in that now, preparing for the Amazon effect that's coming is vitally important for these retailers to ensure that they keep on growing.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect out of this Black Friday. I think I'm just going to sleep, and I'm certainly not going to be in any queue and wake up the next day, look at the land carefully and decide if there's anything that catches my pick. But, Gerard, thank you today for that conversation.